factory incident, a whole bunch of the milk was tainted and kids died. And so that is why that the Chinese are looking for other alternatives. They did the same thing from New Zealand, Frontiera. They had a problem with their factory, so that's why A2 is way more popular than any of the Frontiera brands. It's the same thing for Swiss versus Blackmores. You have to go on a brand journey if you know, like it's a, you don't get second chances when it comes to a brand that doesn't deliver.
Did you buy like followers?
Can you buy followers?
I know you do that.
Yeah, you can.
We don't offer that service.
No.
Yeah.
One thing.
I'll follow you.
Common practice or something that they do and start off with.
Yeah, look, it's pretty easy to, sorry,
No problem. So I just want to add on something about the fake news.
Yeah.
We don't do fake news. Well, if you buy media like from the KOLs, they can create the content for you and for your brand as well. It's sort of like a promotional content, and this content called editorial content is not fake news, but they can news alike. Like say, oh wow, look at this Australian milk product, it's so good. Like sort of things like wow, and wow, sort of things. Like we drink this buzzword to get a acquisition. So it's not like a fake news, sort of thing. And so for these questions about the buying for followers, definitely not, because we are officially recognized the Weibo within Australia. If we do this, we'll be closing up.
Yeah.
So like closing down. That's
Yeah.
just changing
No. Because what we come up against as well is, we've talked a couple of times about us being official agents. Right? So we've got a lot to lose if we were to do anything that is out of line. There are people, there are companies that will say to you, yeah, I can book Weibo for you, I can book this and that, and they might book it through Taiwan, or they might book it through Singapore, or Hong Kong, and they'll do it that way. For us, so we're very careful when we go to market saying that we're not the only way of doing this, but we're the official way of doing it. And being official means we exactly when I said we've got a lot to lose. The other thing as well, if you start buying, people, your digital tracking immediately shows that people are within, pretty much you can see if they're all in the same area. So generally if you're buying followers, it's all in one village. So pretty much it's they can actually see pretty much straight away. So there are, there would be people that like Instagram where they pay people to try to get their followers up. The reason why we talk about 25 KOLs that we look after, there's thousands of KOLs, but there's 25 that we trust and that we know that their numbers are right. It's also, we're very careful about saying, okay, what each of the pillars, retail, automotive, fashion, who do we want to use across each one of those? Yeah.
We talked a lot about B2C today. What about B2B? What would you recommend there?
Yeah, the B2B sphere, in all honesty that's more the Alibaba sort of discussion. So what they can do there is multiple platforms. So even within that ecosystem, you can have, similar to eBay, like here where you're selling on smaller batch numbers on, like AliExpress, have you heard of AliExpress? So AliExpress is like by the pallet load. Then you've got Alibaba, the original by the container load. Then Tmall is by invitation only. It's going to be a big brand, so invitation only. Or if it's a pharmaceutical / cosmetic. So pharmaceutical, if anyone's here pharmaceutical, it's 5-6 years of testing before you get anything in. Cosmetics have changed, where recently the government changed the rules on cosmetic, which used to have to go through the same process. But the key thing for us cosmetic companies here was that even though it was approved in Australia, it would still have to go through testing in China, which involved testing on animals. And so most Australian brands would not, that was the big barrier that's going on. That's been dropped. So the Chinese government recognises now if it's gone through Australian and New Zealand standards for cosmetics and doesn't claim a health benefit of it, then it's a lot easier to get to market.
Sorry, to add on.
Yep.
if you join them on like a Blue Whale account on the Weibo, and the platform would recommend you someone or help you to grow your followers in the same industry based on your interest and the industry, and also they also give you provide a lot of different services and groups, which you will be automatically added in and to have this conversation and grow your business like a ABM, which is account-based marketing on the Weibo. So that's Weibo Blue Whale account. Yeah. Blue Whale.
Blue V.
Blue V. So
That's the official
you get a little blue V.
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. On your name, on your profile.
It's the same sort of thing like where people would, you know, like the real, I can't believe the quote is called, but the real Donald Trump versus the other ones, right? So the Blue V is official, means immediately you can see that that is the official account. So you don't have to worry about what's the right name. Yeah, so for a company, it's, you know, you've got to go through that process of having an AB and what business card and what address and everything like that. Again, it's the transparency saying official, approved, when you engage with this business and when you purchase from them, it's real.
I was saying a little bit more like, what is the LinkedIn of China? Because I haven't seen anything.
Well, in all honesty, WeChat, we use WeChat like LinkedIn. Earlier, I was, you know, did exactly what I saw you guys do before. Because what it is that it's a combination again of models. Like here in Australia and America and stuff, it's like, here's who I am on LinkedIn. This is me. I want to be all corporate. These are my pictures. And here's what I want to be on Facebook, so I've got to be careful who sees that. Whereas on WeChat, those two blend, and it's a matter of going, you know what, I've got people who are my personal friends, I've got business contacts on there as well, and it's just that community, and it's people breaking down the barriers and saying I can actually just engage with people, both friends and business, and those two can merge a lot more. So there's not those distinct things, and with WeChat, it's a lot more open. I'll get to you in a sec.
Yeah. So I previously worked for a company that we actually used WeChat a lot, but it was within the like luxury beauty space. So it was really easy because there was a large demand and people knew the company.
Yep.
Is there that same appetite and willingness to buy for like an Australian brand that they may have never heard of, or is that where you have to kind of use KOLs to get that brand awareness up?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
So
Yep.
you've gone from one end of the path
Yeah.
to the other end of the path. So what it is that once you become a trusted brand, then the path to purchase. I had this discussion with BMW in New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
So the dealership was saying to me, he said, I'm literally getting people turn up in a taxi with their bags from the airport, saying I'll have that 5 Series there in blue, and my friend bought it for, because it's all on WeChat. My friend bought it for this much.
Yeah.
You just going to give me the same price and I'll take it now. I said, well, I haven't got that car in blue right now, but I'll give you another car. You take that car while I get your car in, and the sale's done. The sale was done before they even came to be done. Because what I talked about before about the network of people trusting it, and so at the other end of the spectrum is you're trying to gain trust. Now, if we're talking about products, right, so skin products, for example, I don't use them personally, but my wife won't put stuff on her skin until she's 100% sure it's not going to hurt her. And so he's doing the same thing. It's about building the trust, getting the right influencers who can start building it, and it's a slow grind. It's a very competitive market.
Yeah.
Most people that, if you go to most events, like and the big companies will come up and go, thing I can tell you about China, don't go in there. Because they're all like, oh, they don't want competition going in there. But what they all do recommend is starting outside of China, so like marketing to the Chinese community here. Because the recommendations from here, that's often how you get a product, and especially, you know, and without, it's a high regard for the standards of Australia and New Zealand on that we hold companies to account. And so there's a certain level there of trust, right? But they'll only get you so far.
Yeah. And just one more question. Is it an issue sending customers from something like WeChat or Weibo onto a English website that doesn't have any Chinese translation? Like in terms of
So I already know the answer to that one. See, I don't want to say yes or no,
Okay.
because the thing is, everyone, like you can't expect everyone to say he's, because in Australia, I still, on our English part of business. I still struggle with companies that don't put a mobile website. They don't optimise their website for mobile. You're sitting there going, oh my God, like if you won't do that, so someone's visiting and we all saw the numbers there, what's going up there, right? So if they're not spending the money on that, then otherwise. So absolutely not. Like if that's the path at the moment, then that's fine. And the people can use Google Translate and so on in that part there. But because the other thing as well is ensuring that you do tap into ensuring that people know it's Australian products are sourced. I've had businesses that we've been associated with that buy manufacture stuff in China to ship here and to try to sell back in China. They wonder why they're not doing so. Yes, sorry mate, we've been waiting for ages.
Sorry. Does WeChat allow developers to build apps and have it sitting on the platform? Because you know how Facebook does, the other developers to build apps, e-commerce apps, to target the customers.
Yeah, there's a big nod. Yep, you can.
So you can.
There's rules
Okay.
around it. See, a lot of it is they're upfront with the rules about what you do.
So
as far as
there's limitations here into it.
yeah, there's limitations. There's got to be access. There's got to be comfort level for how that works. So you're never going to give access to it a lot, but it can be done.
Because you know how Facebook, there was like a lawsuit for data leaks.
Yeah. Massive.
So I don't know how much limitations they have on WeChat in terms of developing your own app and have it sitting there and targeting your clients and customers.
Yeah, there's plenty of hurdles. We've had it even with advertising for movie companies and stuff, where for initially they were asking for, let's say we did a movie for that's recent, Thor, right? They'd actually want Chris Hemsworth to actually write a letter saying it's okay for them to use my image in this ad.
And you guys also do that as well? Like,
Yeah.
do you also allow, do you have like a developers that?
We don't get into that space. We've got plenty on our plane.
All
So
right.
it's the sort of thing there where, like as Renee said earlier, for WeChat, that's something that you have to have a discussion with them about. That's part of it we don't get involved. Yeah. Sorry.
That's it.
Yep.
I think for a new business or for existing business, what would be the easiest or like the recommended pathway to kind of gain the attention and the trust of the Chinese market? Would it be to produce content, buy ads, KOLs? What is the recommended pathway for a lot of Australian businesses out there?
That's probably the hardest question of them all, right? Because there's no cookie cutter way of doing it. So I've been in advertising a long time, and the oldest thing in advertising is that only 50% of it works. And we don't know which 50 it is. It's about being willing to try different things. We live in an age of immediate accountability, which is challenging because people go, I just put this on and I've got no click-throughs. It's like, oh well, it's the first time you've ever put that on. So a lot of it comes down to, you've got to be realistic about your budget, what you can invest, and you've got to be committed to the long term. Ultimately, that's it as well. If you're starting from scratch with no followers, it's about being quite targeted in what you're doing and growing from here. Because we find that even with big companies, big companies, they use a test campaign on us, and we work really hard to manage their expectations. We go, we're talking about the luggage supplier for their first campaign with us. We work very hard on managing expectations of saying, what do you expect from this experience? And it can't be just about that. We need to do it over and over again. It can't be a one-off trial.
The luggage, the 30,000 interactions, was that all on Facebook? Yeah.
They get really good click-through, especially this particular luggage company was quite appealing. So it wasn't a brand new brand. Sorry,
just so I can understand Australian media, is it a particular type of business that you guys prefer to work with? Is it?
No, we're a little bit weird because it's almost like, if you've ever heard of something called, like, as I said, we've been around 10 years, right? So we work in majority of our time, so let's say 80% of our time is spent with advertising agencies. So these advertising agencies, they're the ones that hold the account for the big brands. It might be A2 milk, it might be BMW, might be all sorts of, might be a certain luggage brand. Now I'm paranoid they're not saying the name. So we sit behind it quietly, behind them, and we help them service their client, because otherwise, if we were just took them as our client, then we can't take any like-minded clients. So for example, within the university sphere, we look after most of the universities in some form or other with a lot of their marketing. So that's why we don't really push ourselves out there as being, hey, we need to see us and we'll come and go after the big brands. We are relatively small, so in Australia there's only 40 of us. We've got 100 staff in China, but that's because over there they're looking after big brands in China and local marketing as well, but we tap into that from a strategic point of view. So there is limitations on us on what businesses we can help with, but one of the philosophies of S&J when we started was, as I mentioned, my background sort of in media in general the last 20 years, but I did radio, and in radio you help small businesses as well as the large businesses. And the idea being, if we can be part of that pathway to take it from minute to small to medium to large, hopefully we become good friends, and we can be part of that along the way. And it doesn't get to the stage where people suddenly go, we're going to change and go with something else.
So if we're too small, you're not going to turn this way and go, sorry, we can't help you, come in.
We'll have a conversation about it. Realistically, there's going to be people that we can help. We talked about before, what's that minimum spend sort of thing. We're not about taking the money. So it seems counterintuitive with a sales company, right? But there's no point in me giving you a bad experience. Okay? So it's better for me to say, look, not me personally, but one of the guys maybe, or to say, look, maybe this isn't right for you at the moment, or maybe, you know, depending on the product we're talking about, is it too much? I think what we'll do here, guys, is I'm seeing restlessness, which is always a good sign of that everyone's ready to go home before the mail hits.